Hey everyone, welcome back to our pelvic floor mini class series. I'm Melinda Wilson. I'm a physiotherapist who has additional certifications in pelvic health, and I'm the owner of Emerge Physiotherapy. So welcome back. Class 1, we focused on connecting our breath to the pelvic floor. Class 2, we got a little bit more specific. We were trying to see if we could hone in on different sections of the pelvic floor. So we were looking at, can we get more towards the back, towards the middle, and towards the front of the pelvic floor. But today, we're going to focus on speed. And the reason for that is that while it's all well and good to practice these exercises in a controlled, slow manner, in real life, it doesn't always happen that way. So maybe some of you watching have noticed that when you cough, sneeze, laugh, exercise, that's when there might be some issues in terms of maybe leaking or just not feeling like you're well supported at that time. And that's because these muscles need to be able to work both kind of in a slow, controlled manner, but in a very fast manner as well. So really, if you can be strong through the pelvic floor, but if you're not fast enough, then when you're doing something quickly, you're just not going to have the support that you need. So that's the idea today. See what we can do about speeding it up a little bit, getting a little bit more in control so that you can make it work for the activities where you need it to. So we're going to get comfortable. I like a ball, as with the other two classes. You can sit on whatever you like. You can sit on a bolster. You could sit on a chair, as long as you can feel your sit bones touching the ball and your perineum, so that bit of skin between the vaginal opening and the anal opening. For gentlemen watching, it's the skin between the testicles and the anal opening. As long as you can feel those bits of contact, I will take it. If sitting is too uncomfortable for you, then of course lying down is okay too. So as before, we're gonna come back to our breath. Let's get a hand on the abdomen. If you can, a hand on the ribs as well. And we're just gonna take some nice controlled breaths right into our hands. Exhale. Oh, I have a grumpy dog in the corner here. Inhale. Exhale. Good. So we're just like previously taking note of the pelvic floor. When we inhale, it should relax down into whatever you're sitting on. And when you exhale, just a little bit less pressure down. Good. So once you feel comfortable there, we're going to really hone in on that urethral opening. We practiced this in class number 2. But really thinking towards the frontmost part of your pelvic floor. So imagining you're picking up something small while you exhale. I'm picking up a raisin and lifting it up. Inhale and relax back down. Exhale, picking up that raisin, drawing it up into my bladder. Inhale, relax back down. Good. 2 more of these breaths. Exhale, squeeze and lift. Bring that raisin up into your bladder. Inhale, relax back down. Good. Making sure that your bottom stays quiet, your glutes are quiet, your legs are quiet, and your posture is just nice and neutral. Inhale, exhale, squeeze and lift up into the bladder. Good. And take a small break. So we're just going to take the same exact exercise and speed it up a little bit. The only difference here is that we're just going to add a little bit quicker of a breath, and we're going to start breathing just a shade before we do our squeeze, okay? A phrase that's really common in our industry, I can't take credit for it, it's by Julie Wiebe, who's a famous pelvic floor physio in the States. She always says, blow before you go, and I really like that nice simple phrase. So the idea is to really start exhaling, get those lungs up and out of the way so that it's easier to get your squeeze nice and quick. So I'll demonstrate. We're going to still inhale, and whereas it takes me about a 3 or 4 count to get to the top of my squeeze when I'm doing it in a controlled, slow way, I'm going to aim for about 2 seconds from bottom to top. Okay? So I'll use my hand to kind of denote what the pelvic floor is doing. So I'll inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. So you notice there, it didn't really look like I was doing anything other than demonstrating with my hand. I'm keeping my body nice and quiet. The tricky part is when you go quickly, you kind of want to start clenching other body parts. You want to start clenching your bottom, maybe your back muscles, maybe really hard through your abdomen. So the idea is to try to stay calm and controlled through those things and just squeezing and lifting up. So try it with me again. I'm going to turn from the side so you can kind of see how the posture should be. Just kind of neutral. My shoulders are lined up over my hips. Ears somewhere close to around over my shoulder. So I'm just going to inhale, go. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, and relax down. Good. So the idea is with this one, it's not really so much how many reps that you do. We're not really interested in endurance as much here. It's more about your control and about your speed, which leads me to my next point. It doesn't work so well to practice this exercise by itself all the time and expect it to translate to real life. So I always recommend that you try to take it and incorporate it into something that you do every day. One of the most common things I'll suggest is whenever you stand up out of a chair. Because for most of us, that's something we're gonna do a couple of times throughout the course of the day. So what you try to do is get up out of the chair fairly quickly, as long as you're physically able to do that, and incorporate the quick breath and the quick squeeze into it. So if that's me and I'm sitting, say, in my chair or on my couch, I kind of scoot myself to the edge of my chair, take a breath in, exhale, and stand up. Inhale, relax back down. Exhale, and inhale, relax back down. Now, this may not work for you. My suggestion for you is take note if there's any time throughout the course of the day where maybe you are having some difficulty. Let's say you have a little bit of leaking whenever you go to pick a baby up out of the crib, or when you go to reach for something in the cupboard, or it only happens when you cough. Well, then what you need to do is stop yourself in that moment if you have time, redo the movement, turn it into an exercise, do it 2 or 3 times with that quick breath. So if it happened when you were reaching for something in the cupboard, inhale, exhale, inhale, back to start. Inhale, exhale, inhale, back to start. You can turn anything into an exercise, really, if you need to. So that's the idea there. We're trying to really get at very specifically into the very frontmost part of the pelvic floor, right at that urethral opening. Now, it doesn't mean you can't practice it further back. For people who have fecal incontinence or leaking in that area, it does happen. It's okay to practice this exercise there. Like you just take that, opening squeeze and lift from there. But the reason, for the purposes of today's lesson, I kept it to the urethral openings. That's where generally people tend to have the most trouble. So that's the idea there. Practice this in sets of 5. Do 5 in a row, take a breath rest for about 30 seconds, another set of 5. And that should be enough to kind of get the idea going. But always, always, always try to incorporate it into something functional throughout the course of your day. If anything, just the standing up off the chair. So if you have any questions for me, feel free to pop them in the comments below or send me a message. I often get messages about these classes, so just send me something and I'll do my best to get back to you as quickly as I can. And thanks for joining me for our 3rd mini class. Take care.